I think my hearing aids are working well. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to know if your hearing aids are set up for maximum performance. Oftentimes when I ask an existing hearing aid user how well their hearing aids are performing, they'll tell me that their hearing aids definitely help. However, almost nobody is ever able to tell me if they're hearing their absolute best with their devices. Hearing is a very dynamic sense, meaning how well you're able to hear has a lot to do with the environment that you're actually in. I would bet that if you're in a calm, quiet situation face to face with another person, you hear them substantially better than if you were to go out to a really noisy restaurant. So to be fair, this overly generalized question that I ask people really doesn't allow them to articulate how much benefit they're getting with their hearing aids and if they're actually hearing really well in all of these different situations. Unfortunately, this generalized inquiry is what's typically used by hearing care professionals at the end of a hearing aid fitting period to determine if someone's hearing better with their devices, which is probably why most people have no freaking clue if their hearing aids have actually been optimized to treat their hearing loss to the highest level possible. The good news is there are 3 ways to know for sure if your hearing aids are working their best to maximize your hearing ability. But before I share what these things are, do me a huge favor and click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. And a huge shout out to Widex for sponsoring today's video. Danish hearing aid manufacturer Widex is known for pushing the boundaries of innovation in premium hearing aid technology. They were one of the first to release a fully digital hearing aid back in the 1990s, and they've continued to push the envelope with what is possible when it comes to hearing aids. One standout feature is their pure sound with zero delay technology, which processes sound in under 0.5 milliseconds. That's up to 20 times faster than other digital hearing aids. The result? A more natural listening experience with less distortion and better speech perception. Widex also pioneered machine learning in hearing aids with their AI sound assistant, allowing wearers to fine-tune the sound of their own hearing aids in real time by training their hearing aids in actual listening environments. Their latest W1 chip is 4 times faster with 4 times the memory, enabling Speech Enhancer Pro, a feature that intelligently separates speech from background noise before processing, dramatically improving your hearing in challenging situations. And all of these features are packed inside of the new Widex Allure hearing aids, which are Widex's most advanced and best sounding hearing aids to date. So if you're looking for some of the most advanced hearing aid technology available on the market, the Widex Allure should definitely be on your list of hearing aids to ask your hearing care professional about. Okay, so the first thing that absolutely has to be done to ensure that your hearing aids are working their best is something called Testbox Measures. Testbox measures, otherwise known as electroacoustic analysis, allow your hearing care professional to measure the diagnostics of a hearing aid to make sure that they are meeting manufacturer specifications. Think about like when you go to the shop with your car. They hook your car up to a computer and they read out anything that's possibly wrong with your car so they know what to fix. This particular test measures things like output, gain, distortion, and noise levels inside of your hearing aids. All of these diagnostic measures have to be within the tolerance ranges for that particular hearing aid, otherwise the hearing aids fail diagnostics. And this ultimately reduces the performance of your hearing aids. And the crazy thing is, nobody is able to identify if your hearing aids are meeting manufacturer specifications unless you run them through the test box. You can't just listen to a hearing aid and identify if the gain of that hearing aid is 3 decibels too far below the tolerance range, or if the distortion levels are 7% instead of below 4% where they should be. If this testing reveals that the hearing aids did not meet specifications, they have to be repaired by either your hearing care professional or the hearing aid manufacturer. Only hearing aids that are functioning completely within these tolerance ranges identified by Testbox measures are capable of helping you hear your absolute best. Now, the second thing that you need to have done to ensure that your hearing aids are working their best is something called real ear measurement. Real ear measurement is a form of verification that allows us to identify if your hearing aids are programmed correctly to match your hearing loss prescription. We do this by placing probe microphone tubes inside of your ears along with your hearing aids. We then play a calibrated sound from a speaker in front of you and measure how much amplification you're receiving in relation to your hearing loss prescription. Real ear measurement can easily identify if you're being over-amplified in certain frequency ranges or under-amplified in other frequency ranges, which can both destroy your performance with hearing aids. Let me explain what we're looking at when we're performing real ear measurement. The hash mark line that you see here is your prescription for your hearing loss. The solid line is the amount of amplification that's being measured inside of your ear canals after it's been amplified by the hearing aids. Ideally, you want the solid line to overlap with the hash mark line as closely as possible, meaning that you are meeting your prescription. If you're over-amplified, your hearing care professional can use real ear measurement to reduce the amount of amplification in those specific frequency ranges that you're over-amplified in. They can do the same thing for the frequency ranges that you're under-amplified in, using real ear measurement to guide the amplification levels up to your prescriptive targets so you know that your performance is going to be at its best. I want to be very clear when I say this. It is impossible to know if your hearing aids are programmed correctly unless you use real ear measurement to verify it. And if it is verified, then you'll hear substantially better not just in quiet environments, but noisy environments as well. So even if you think that you're hearing well with your hearing aids, it's impossible to know if your hearing aids are working their best unless you've had real ear measurement done. And the third thing that needs to be done to ensure that your hearing aids are working their best is something called validation outcome measures. Validation outcome measures are essentially pre- and post-outcome assessments before your hearing aid fitting and at the end of your hearing aid fitting, usually several weeks down the road. These questionnaires are designed to be very specific in identifying if you're getting a significant amount of benefit with your hearing aids in a variety of different situations. Some of these questionnaires include the Client-Oriented Scale of Improvement, otherwise known as the COSI, the Abbreviated Profile of Hearing Aid Benefit, otherwise known as the AFAB, or the International Outcome Inventory for Hearing Aids, otherwise known as the IOI-HA. Now, there are a variety of other validated outcome questionnaires. These are just some of the more common ones. Now, it's very important that you have the pre-assessment done before your hearing aid fitting. You can't get 3 or 4 weeks into your hearing aid fitting and then start identifying how you were doing before you actually got the hearing aids. It's also very important to do this at the very beginning of a hearing aid fitting so your hearing care professional knows exactly what they're trying to improve. At the end of your fitting period, which is oftentimes around 30 to 45 days, this is when the post-outcome assessment should be done. The reason you want to do this post-outcome assessment at least 30 days after your initial hearing aid fitting is because it takes the human brain approximately 30 days to acclimate to new hearing aids. If you end up doing the assessment before 30 days, you may not be fully adapted, so the way that you're hearing may not actually be at its best yet. At the end of your fitting period, this validation outcome questionnaire should identify that you're getting a significant amount of benefit in all of the areas that you wanted to see benefit. And if you're not getting a significant amount of benefit in a certain area that you wanted to see benefit, then either your hearing care professional has to address that concern and improve the hearing aid performance more, or they have to counsel you on why it is impossible for you to make that any better than what it is. That being said, at the end of this time period, you should know exactly how much benefit you're getting from your hearing aids and if it can be improved any further. If it can't be improved any further, then congratulations, your hearing aids are working the best that they possibly can. Now, I just want to be clear here so we're on the same page. A validated outcome assessment is not just asking the question, do you think you're hearing better with your hearing aids? No matter what you say, there is nothing actionable that your hearing care professional can take out of that, which means that there's no way for them to know for sure if you're actually doing your best with your hearing aids. And there you go. Those are the 3 key things that need to be done to ensure that your hearing aids are working their best. Now, I should also mention that if any one of these 3 key things, including Testbox Measures, real ear measurement, or validated outcome questionnaires are not completed, then it is impossible to know if you're hearing your best with your hearing aids. So if you want to guarantee that you are receiving the maximum amount of benefit from your hearing aids with whatever hearing aids you choose to use, you have to make sure that these best practices are followed. Otherwise, you're always going to be questioning whether or not you should be hearing better.